Welcome, everybody. This edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with my other hosts, Damon and Jaquari Armstrong. This is our situation where we are who we are, when we are, and how we are. Trying something new, guys. This is a conversational podcast. Like I said, I'm here with Damon Armstrong and Jaquari Armstrong. And I am Keith Armstrong. So, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are trying to connect to Instagram as we go along, guys. And we'll see. You know what I'm saying? How was your day today, Damon?
Man, it was a good day for me, man. You know that the sun actually came out here in Michigan, man. So I try to soak up all the rays through the window in the cold. So I was actually optimistic.
No doubt. You say optimistic, huh? Jaquari, what about yourself, sir?
Yeah, I said, man, the day a good day.
Oh, okay.
The day was okay, man. I took the opportunity to bask in the motherfucking mundane boredom of middle classdom.
Okay.
And I quite enjoy it.
You say you quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like the way that you made up a new word, middle class dumb.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time.
Look, just like kingdom, it is what it is.
A new word, phrase, or experience. He brought a whole bunch of that shit together.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot to be said, man. That when as a little boy, you think you're poor because you ain't got no money. Your parents ain't necessarily poor, but you like shit. When I get big, man, shit, I'm gonna have a beer cooler over here, and I'm gonna have snacks and cakes, just strewn all over the goddamn house, and I'm just gonna have my money. I'm gonna have a good job, and I'm gonna make millions of dollars, and I'm gonna just rub my checks all over my body at the end of the week.
It sound like erotica, bro.
Okay.
Hell, shit. I mean, a good life can be a sexual thing. Shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's all translated.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what.
That was your day, bro.
My day.
Yes.
It was basically my day was. I don't want to say uneventful because it's an event when you walk out your door. It's an event when you speak to somebody. We in the middle of an event right now. You know what I'm saying? So really and truly, it is. Jaquari mentioned basking earlier. Well, now that I'm retired for a number of years, I'm basking in my potential. Most people get a chuckle when they hear that, right? But so what's so funny about it is everybody instantly understands what it means, but they don't know what it means at the same time. When I first heard it from my father, John Armstrong, I was like, I understood it because I understood him. You know what I'm saying? I understood where he was coming from, he was, what he was about, and what he was, what kind of person he was. But if somebody else said it, I would have looked at him and said, what the hell does that mean? Even though I liked how it sounded, but what does it mean? You know what I mean? So, Jaquari, what did it mean to you when you heard it?
I don't know, man. It took me years to kind of like figure out my own explanation for it, but to me it just means that, as I sit back and think about all the shit that I could possibly achieve in my life, you know, I come to the realization that I don't really have any obstacles outside of myself.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Uh, Damon, what about you, man? What did you think when you first heard it?
The first time I heard that, man, the first time I heard that phrase, it came from a Vietnam vet. Remember Hawk,
Yeah.
friend of the family?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember Hawk? He
Yeah.
was the first person I heard say that.
Okay.
Pop used to call him Hawky Dawk.
Him, even at that early age, coming from him, I said, damn. Yeah. I said, coming from him, that's a hell of a statement to make, man. Especially thinking about the climate at the time, man. Damn, I'm aging myself. I'm aging us at this point now. But to hear him say that, and everybody identified like you were speaking to it, Keith. Everybody identified with it. But coming from a man who just came out the bush, that was a poignant statement, man. He saw life after his experience, however bad it was. I associate that statement, man, with Hawk, man.
Okay.
The actual experiencing of somebody else's hardship, man, will pin, it'll zero in your own personal shit for you real quick. Because you think about like your general example of American projects or whatever, and depending on how you was raised, you could say they were bad. But if you went to Brazil and spent the day in one of those favelas, your whole shit would be changed. Your whole perspective would be torn down and restructured.
Of course, I think there's a couple phrases that come to mind when it comes to different things like that. But let me close this off on my end with basking in your potential. When I was younger, I got threw a little artistic license in it. And I used to say one of my friends, I said, man, you over there basking in your stupidity. You know what I'm saying? You're basking in, you're basking in your beauty. Just the simple fact that the word basking really and truly highlights what the word that follows. Like, there's a word I don't use, but I've heard somebody say, he's over there basking in his niggardity. See, I can't even say the word. Y'all know what word I'm trying to say.
Niggerdom?
No, niggerdom or niggerty.
Why don't you say niggerism?
That's three different ways to say it. I don't say.
Oh my God!
I stopped saying that word, like really and truly using that word in my everyday life when I was maybe 6th grade. I think a lot of it because I went to a camp, first over sleepaway camp, right? This is when we moved from Detroit and we moved to Rossonville, Michigan, outside of Ypsilanti. And 6th grade, went to a sleepaway camp. I was gone for 5 days, right? My first night in the cabin, I had a bunch of, and most people don't know about Michigan. I'm sorry, but the racism is it's not hidden. So if a white guy don't like you because you're black, he gonna tell you. You might stump a mud hole in his ass, but he's gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? It was racism was always confrontational with us growing up. So this night in this sleepaway camp, first time I was ever was alone from the house, 6th grade, right? It was a damn. It looked like a damn lynch mob. You know how we always got our education. It looked like a lynch mob. You know what I mean? It was like 4 or 5 of them got together. Even a little Asian Indian boy. He went to here. Oh, I'm white. You brown as me, but I'm white. And they all around talking and all this, right? And the leader of the group, it was me and one little small little black kid, right? The leader of the group saw me, and I was chilling. I'm in my corner, in my bunk. Just a little nervous about the day, because I ain't never been away from home. This little white kid walks up with his group, say, hey, man, I like the movies. What's your name? Your name Keith, right? I like the movies. This God's honest truth. Yeah, you know what I saw the other day? My dad took me to go see it. Boss Nigger. Y'all remember that damn movie? Boss Nigger. And this dude was dropping so many N-bombs, right? And I'm looking at him. I sat up in my bed. And in my mind, I'm thinking, does this kid think I'm just a punk? You know what I mean? Because look, I was chubby, right? But I wasn't no small kid. So for finally, you know, because all his little buddies is snickering. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to step out my bag for a minute, right? I said, no, I ain't see it. But if you say that word, this is exactly what I said. And the camp counselor came in after he heard me say it. And I wasn't no cursor. So this is exactly what I said. If you say that word one more time, I'm going to beat your, excuse me, folks, cracker ass. Right? My man had his mouth open. Man had his mouth open. What you trying to do? You doubling up, Luke? My man had his mouth open and everything, right? And next thing you know, he said, turn around and sat back down. His buddies looking at him like, yo, what we gonna do? We gonna jump him? Then I stood up on him. I said, what y'all gonna do? Right? And then next thing you know, the counselor comes in and he looks straight at me. He been hearing this little kid drop the N-bomb for the last 10 minutes. He's a white guy. He looks straight at me and says, we don't condone violence here. Do you want to get sent home? And really, I wanted to get sent home. But I looked at him and I was taught to respect adults. But what I said was, I don't want to get sent home, but I will get sent home if he say that word to me again. Then I sat back in my bed and laid down.
You know, as bad as I feel for you in that situation that you had to experience that, man, I feel compelled to ask you, what year was that, brother?
6th grade, maybe 74.
74. Okay,
74, 75.
Yeah, because that's a hell of a movie reference right there. Shit, boss nigga.
I knew. Look, a lot of people don't know about that joint, but yo, what was so crazy about it, you know how we learned about it? You would have think we learned about it when we was at the movie, right? We was at the movie, the drive-in. I'm talking about. You know how they show the different trailers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I seen it on TV. And they said boss N-word.
That boss nigga.
Yeah.
Did he say it like that?
He had to. Boss nigga.
No. Here you go.
He's the baddest mofo, James Brown down out this motherfucker.
Listen.
Like, what the fuck?
Coming from the swamp in Louisiana, his balls, nigga. Balls, nigga. Just so happened to find a shotgun, and he's going to terrorize them white crackers across.
Oh my god!
First time I heard the N word, man, me and Keith playing out in the back of the apartment building, we broke our friend's squirt gun and shit. And his brother came out. He's about 25 years old. Had us in the car. Did you break my squirt gun, nigga? Remember that, man?
Yeah, I do.
That was the first time I heard. That's what I was called that.
You know what? Go ahead, Fluke. Go ahead.
Ironically, man. Well, I don't even know if it's Arnie, man. I think, man, that people want to sit back and think that there are a certain way and move past and all that stuff. But do y'all think, man, that y'all know a black person, man, who was never ever not called that? As a child, I'm talking about in the adulthood. I'm talking about in like formative years.
I think it would be rare, to be honest with you. I think every black, potentially, let me put it like that, because we're in America, right? Potentially every man and woman in our community could be called that at least once in their lifetime. And if they're not, I'm looking at truly blessed individuals when it comes to their ear and their psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I was looking at go ahead.
I was just saying, when I think about all the times I experienced that word when I was a child and didn't do anything, maybe out of fear of reprisal or, just not knowing what the fuck to do. And then when I seen other black men have reactions to the same word, I kind of felt like I was letting myself down by not choosing violent confrontation. But I also learned over the years that words, I mean, you can't spark out over words. You cannot spark out over words. Okay, you go on any social media platform and see black people just committing acts of assault and violence on people over a word. I'm not saying that the word doesn't carry heavy connotations or whatever, but I never believed that birthing a bigger problem in the pursuit of trying to solve some trivial bullshit was necessary. I never thought that was smart.
Yeah, but you know what though, bro? When you think about it in a larger context, man, you got other people who it's about their honor. You know what I'm saying? You got people taking off gloves and slapping the shit out of people with it because of their honor.
I get it. I understand. I totally understand. And I'm not judging anybody else's reaction to the word. I'm not doing that.
Right. And I'm not accusing you of that. I'm just saying I understand where it might be a dilemma going through that experience. It might be a conflict or a dilemma, in terms of how to react to it. But you got books written about honor and all this stuff. Hey, you question my manhood, I have to challenge you in a certain way to a duel or whatever. But but society tells a black man that they have to be able to hold their temper and overlook certain things and honor be damned. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
So let me ask both of you guys that at an early age, knowing and understanding that you have to align to a certain to a certain way, you understood the contradictions also. You know what I'm saying? And the hypocrisy behind it.
No,
Am I making sense?
no, what do you mean by the contradiction behind it? You mean us saying the word?
Right. If somebody call us the N word, you know what I'm saying? Because we all know what that means. We know what the intention is by calling us that, and we retaliate in a certain way based on our honor. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at it. As juxtaposed to somebody saying, "Hey man, you offended my honor and my family name, so I'm gonna take my glove off and smack you with ass with it and challenge you to a duel." That's deemed honorable, right?
Okay.
So there's this dual reality where psychologically, is it really meant to say, okay, no, you can't respond to that. You have to be nonviolent. You have to march instead of defending your honor. Am I making sense? Whereas somebody could get off saying, "Hey man, they offended my family. I defended and I shot them in the name of my family."
I mean, but see, here's the thing, man. Because I worked in law enforcement as many years as I worked in it, I want y'all to really understand, my two brothers, that the other cheek don't always get turned. You understand what I'm saying to you? So when it comes to our community, I think we're harder on each other than we're on the outside world, but we do retaliate against the outside world. See, I experienced it in real time. But what the propaganda that's been thrown our way, because in my opinion, they ask us and they tag us the angry black man for a reason. Not because the fact that and this I really believe this, man. Other communities see what we in America have gone through, the subjugation, the horrors of it, the being pushed to a lower income class, right? And in their minds, and I'm speaking, and I'm taking little liberties with this, but in their minds, right? In their minds, they sitting there thinking, yo, why ain't these guys burning down the situation? Why ain't these guys doing these different things? Right? And it makes them, well, look, we need to jump on top of this just in case they, speaking about us, put it together and want to retaliate because they have centuries worth of retaliation in mind. And I'm just speaking just lightly touching on this, where it's the psychological thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of times, man, other communities outside of us and in the white community, man, spend a lot of times, spend most of their time trying to figure out ways on how not to become the new niggas. I mean, the way of evolution and everything, and the social construct. I mean, if you look at, and I don't want to step on toes, because
it's a power structure, though.
yeah, I don't want to step on toes or anything. But if you look at the number of interracial relationships that produce children, and those children who go out and might not hook up with the darker side of their ethnicity, so it's going to lighten the the product of their loins or whatever. Everybody's eventually going to start looking the same. Like the Egyptians that we know nowadays, Those are everybody knows those aren't the original Egyptians. Those are that they're a mixture of every fucking body.
No, but see, it's not a mixture, Jaquar. Those were migratory people.
It's
You understand? See, this was they are conquerors coming from Pakistan.
Nobody conquered Egypt, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody conquered Egypt, bro.
Listen, I'm trying
to tell you. I could tell you exactly why modern day Egyptians look the way they do.
You're going to give me, and this is my opinion. You're going to give me the textbook version of it.
No, I'm going to give you several textbook versions of it.
Because first of all, here's the crazy thing about it. You want to talk about the Greeks. You want to talk about the Romans. It is not that many Greeks or Romans that came in there.
I'm not going to talk about the Greeks or Romans at all.
Why don't
hold
on, because that snide ass look on his face. I need you to give me that.
I'm glad you recognize it.
Yeah, that was purposeful, huh?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. The reason why Egyptians look the way they look today is because of the mixture of Arabs who came into the land, but there was also a large contingency of Asians, Chinese, who didn't invade Egypt. They set up settlements in different places all around Egypt, and they intermingled with the Egyptians.
When did this occur?
No, I don't know, years. I'm not that sharp. Not right now. I've been drinking.
In terms of decades. See, you and I, we're talking about. We might be in two different.
Keith. No. Do the research, brother, because I don't want you sitting there. I don't want you to sit there and tell me that we saying the same thing. We not.
No, we're not saying the same thing. We're in the wrong. You and I are in the wrong time frame. First of all, I'm talking about the simple fact that when we talk about the pharaohs, right? When we talk about the pharaohs, like Cleopatra, you want to know why they depict her as lighter skin? Because a darker skin Egyptian and the Greeks, a Greek, whatever, diplomat or whatever, royalty, was her grandparent or parent, right? I'm saying to you in the beginning, the country was darker skinned, period.
Yeah, I understand that.
So
I understand that. And I'm saying
migratory, when I said migratory, you basically just told me that.
I'm saying that before the Greeks the Greeks or the Romans even got to Egypt, what I said happened. See, when Egypt was still known as Nubia.
So you're telling me the Chinese?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say that I don't agree, but you may be correct. Because I don't know everything. But that I am hard pressed for that, because first and foremost, it has been proven through Western technology that man's origin came from Central Africa.
Even that, bruh, has been questioned.
First of all, it's coming in after them saying that that man's origin was in Europe, bro.
Okay, first they said man's origin was in Europe, then they said Africa, now they're saying China.
Okay, I tell you what.
I mean, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass.
They said China first, then they said Africa, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Our information is
no. Okay.
You notice how I say our? You notice how I say our?
Okay. Here's my thing. In all fairness to whoever watches this, please leave in the comments if you have a place of reference. But I lived it in real time, in which they said they found a fossil in China, right? Predates such and such, da 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 da, right? Originated from China, correct? Then, a couple decades later, we were wrong. It originated here because we found another fossil that predates what we found in China.
I made my statement based off of information that I've read recently. It wasn't that the findings that I'm speaking about aren't decades old.
But this is my point. Understanding, because I'm not perfect when it comes to history. It has nothing to do with that. But when history is spoke upon, I pay attention.
Well, as do I.
So I do remember them on 60 Minutes or 2020 or one of them joints talking about China first. Then after China, Africa. That's all.
Have you ever heard anybody reference black people as Asiatic?
Yes.
Do you know where that
So
comes from?
you talking about
No, it doesn't come from China. It don't come from there. It comes from Africa.
If you let me finish, I'll
Okay.
He's speaking Pangean when all the continents were all together and all that stuff.
I get it. And guess what? What was the center of it, of Pangea? Where all the animals and everything migrated to everywhere when they started to split apart. But
well,
just like I said, I'm not gonna sit up.
Well,
here.
it's my 2 cents. Corey caught my attention, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking maybe he knows something I don't know. You know, and if he can expound on it, maybe we can have some idea of, the point that he's making, you know what I'm saying? Because as he's having the chance to express himself, I'm thinking Pangean, you know what I'm saying? Where all the continents were together. Maybe who knows where it originated from. History tells us that it originated in Africa, but I mean, maybe he knows some. I don't know. Some findings. What they call that? Carbon dating. I don't know. You know, I know as a black man, what I do know is that there's a certain people who they want history to be erased. But when you look at it as a whole, when migration was happening on, be it Pangea or whatever, the original people were black. So there were black Chinese. You see what I'm saying? It all originated from blackness, dark skin. So it doesn't matter where in the world they were, wherever they came from, the world was populated by dark-skinned people, and then it transited to other, different things. So it doesn't matter to me where it came, what continent it started from. The original person, the original human being, through DNA and all that stuff. You had your Neanderthals and your Cro-Magnons and all that stuff. The original people, based on DNA, came from black people, Africana. Well,
my statements, man, the statements that I made to Keith, man, I'm if anybody, out here viewing this conversation or whatever, if call me on my bullshit, please. If you have different facts, then by all means, please hop on and let's discuss those facts. I'm not above having my mind changed.
Hey,
And I'm so glad that you were able to read my face and snide, Keith, because that's what I was
First of
going
all,
for, brother.
that was my that was my fucking problem. How dare you?
What the fuck? What?
How
Why?
dare you?
Why? I can't stand on all my years of education, brother.
And I can't stand on all my years of education.
You challenged me. I didn't
I
challenge
didn't
you.
challenge you.
Yes, you
All I
did.
did was what I did was not agree. That's not a challenge. You know why?
Well,
Go ahead.
I would say this: when you leave with, well, let me address the snidiness on your face. That constitutes a challenge, bro.
It sort of does. It sort of does.
I was challenged with the snideness, and I acknowledged it. I acknowledged it. And what did he do after that, Damon? What did he do? I'm glad you recognize that, sir.
Yeah. That's my version of that was my version of challenge. You know, sit up and step on. Yeah.
And no, hell. Now you get ready to say,
No.
I stepped on your. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
No, I
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
First of all, what we do here,
He broke out his. Ooh, yeah.
he wanted to sing.
No, I mean it's interesting to the fact, man, to the point, man, where you know, in regards to like the Fertile Crescent and everything, and the first woman who walked the earth and everything, man, you know, the information is so jumbled and can be so one-sided and pointed, man, that you know.
It's about who's giving the information.
It's about who's delivering the information, man. It really is, you know.
Yes, sir. But you know what I love about information? The right information always seems to squeeze through the crack. And we always seem to recognize it through all the bullshit. For some reason, one thing seemed to resonate. Like, hey, man, this big-ass wall of information, but this little strand keeps sticking out. Let's talk about it.
But when it comes to race, there is no objectivity, man. It's all subjective, man.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, how do you?
I take that back. I agree with you, Fluke, but we have been conditioned to think that we don't have a say. Go ahead and finish.
Well, there is carbon dating. You know what I'm saying? Discovery and carbon dating and all that stuff. That is scientific and factual. You can prove that. You know what I'm saying? That's objectivity, man. But when it comes to the scroll and shit, they dictate history, right?
Look. Let me tell you something crazy. Two things. First of all, what I love, this is the real information age, man. I think it was some decades before where they said this is the age of information. They used to just throw it out there, right? But really and truly, this is the real information age where we can go to our laptop, our smartphone, our desktop, and television, smart TV, and find information on everything, right? Imagine me looking at the Discovery Channel because I love history. I was a dinosaur, right? Seeing a program that talked about how dinosaurs were created, right? And I'm just throwing this out here. Not that I believe it or anything like that, but we're talking about the age. I brought up the age of information, right? And people can throw things out into the atmosphere and people will grab onto it, right? You know how they got the Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? Think about it. How you look at the T-Rex, right? With the small ass arms and the big legs. How the fuck other than the kangaroo, right? But how do you justify something that enormous being able to stand and keep its balance? You see what I'm saying? Now this and look, I didn't take real credence in this, but this is on the, so you know what the Discovery Channel does is it gives everyone's opinion of how history was, right? And this guy was saying, well, look, the first dinosaur bones were created by explorers for a particular museum. I don't remember the museum or whatever, right? To bring in more customers so they can make the money.
And what's this, Christian based, man? Whoever came with that logic, is it Christian based, man? When they want the world to be 6,000 years old?
First of all, no. What it is the simple fact. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, it led you to that conclusion of what I just said. Christian based, right? That's the conclusion it led you to, right? Then other people like, no, that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? There's these gigantic animals that used to roam, and the only reason why they're not here anymore is because a giant meteor came down and blew up and decimated the whole planet. You see what I'm saying? Or Christian based, when God created, and this is how they justified it, when God was creating the world, and when it was in darkness, it was the Leviathan and what else? It was the other things that lived in the sea, all these different things that was going on, correct? Man trying to justify his existence. I would say the dinosaurs, if I was to feed into that paranoia fluke, I would say that that's man trying to justify his existence, because it's saying that we came up from the ooze. You remember that? Primordial ooze. That's where man came from. You know what I'm saying? Instead of,
but just
yeah,
a person, just we as people, man, trying to live and develop ourselves in that fucking contradiction, man. I mean, because we have so much science, you know, air quotes scientific data that, you know, backs up our origin or whatever. Then we have the Bible.
Okay.
You know, and the stories,
the Bible,
the stories don't match they don't mesh whatsoever. So as rational adults, rational people, we have to maintain, you know, positions in both worlds.
Okay, a good point. And then I need you to chime in after this, Fluke. But let me ask you a question. We know that the Bible is a book of interpretations and stories. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The word Bible is not even Yiddish.
Okay. Well, I don't know none of that. But can we also say the Big Bang Theory can seriously be questioned too?
Anything that's not witnessed by
Exactly.
the human eye has got to be questioned.
Exactly.
Well, actually, scientifically, you can see that the Big Bang Theory is a theory, but the universe is expanding, meaning it's moving out. So
because that's what they're saying. How is it moving out though? If you have any information, tell me, how is it moving out? See, that's the point I'm trying to make.
It could be measured by telescopes.
Right. And what purpose would they have to make up that to justify the theory?
To justify man's existence on his own.
But Keith, when you talk about the big,
now I'm answering your question.
When you talk about let me present my argument first, though.
I'm gonna let you. I'm just saying. I answered that what you just said.
Go ahead.
No, I just answered the question. That's all I said to you.
Okay, my point is, if you say, okay, the origins of the universe is from a Big Bang theory, that an explosion going outward, right? And scientifically, that's proven that the universe is expanding outward. Galaxies are colliding, moving outward. So you can, in theory, justify that there was a bang in the beginning. Now, with that understanding, you can have two arguments: whether there was a being who caused it to happen, or it was just something that happened, in its natural form. I mean, both sides can make an argument to it.
Okay. Now we're speaking from the physical point. Now, I am a believer from the spiritual, and I'm a believer from that point.
The ontological.
All right, thank you, Jaquar. But I'm a believer from that, right? But let me ask you a question, because see, I'm not disagreeing with you, because this is a real conversation that we all need to have when it comes to this logical being, because believing in God and a higher power is here. And is here, in my opinion, right? Now, you said something about it is proven, or it's proof that the Big Bang is expanding out. Who is proving it, and how are they proving it? And I'm not saying, I don't want you to be an expert. What I'm saying to you is, are we taking somebody's word for it?
Are you asking me?
Everybody.
Okay. My answer to that question is, when you look at it in terms of science and history and all that stuff, and as far as exploring the outer world, all that stuff, that's documented. You can document that. They seen it happen,
bro,
in real time. It's not.
When you look at
go ahead.
When you look at the scale and characteristics of an explosion, what happens during an explosion? You have something that's possibly theoretically shaped like a ball, right? It explodes and it starts to expand. Okay. Damon said the universe is still expanding, and there's scientific proof that you could prove that. That's my explanation of the Big Bang theory. That's why light and sound travel at the speed that they do, because we're still in the midst of that disbursement of matter. Things are still exploding.
I got you. I understand. Go ahead and finish, Luke.
But he just summed it up for me. But what I'm getting from you, Keith, is you saying, well, it's all speculation.
It's not?
Whereas, no, it's scientifically proven, bro.
Oh, now stop right there. This is the point I'm trying to make. You saying scientifically proven. How? Now, this is not me disagreeing. This is not me anywhere. Where are we getting the information that is scientifically proven? From somebody else's lips. We don't have. Do we have a high-powered telescope? Do we have access to information, or is the information provided to us? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so you think it's all speculation, right? Somebody's word, whoever, right?
Yes, it's not.
That's what you're saying. Okay, let me ask you a question. Not to offend you or anything like that. Let me ask you a question. Where's your proof that Jesus existed?
And I just said to you, first and foremost, my belief in God is in my heart and my head, right?
Okay, where is your proof that God exists?
Okay. See, this is what I'm saying to you. So you'll understand me.
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying.
No. I'm not looking for proof. I am gravitating toward the energy that's taking me to where I began to where I am now.
But you're questioning it, though.
I'm not questioning anything other than the simple fact that I pointed out to you and I said to you, this is what I said. Where did you get the information? First thing I said.
Which is a question.
Then secondly, no, it's not. It's a question, but it's a statement, meaning you're telling me, oh, it's a proven fact. Right? Didn't you just say that to me? That is a proven fact. What is the proven fact?
Scientific proof, documentation.
Okay. Documentation from who?
Yeah,
All right.
The people who study this shit.
Okay.
Man, you know they spend billions of dollars with this information with the Hubble scope, and now they got a scope. They got a droid that travels through galaxies.
There you go. See, you're talking about the scope that travels through galaxies. You're talking about all these different things, right?
So as far as you're concerned, ain't nobody landed on the moon, right?
Who are we getting the information from? And they are what? And you just spoke about the moon, right? How many years have you heard in the ether that the moon landing was staged? How many?
I didn't pay no attention to that, man.
Why?
You know how many rockets and shit? You know how many rockets and stuff like that they got out in the damn in orbit, man, trying to get to the moon? You thinking all those different tribes didn't ever landed on the joint, man?
Is there any people out there? Long term.
I don't know. In the galaxy, you know, there's billions of galaxies, and there's come on, man. We don't know. Exactly. We know what we know. As far as what we know, there is more proof in terms of space travel and all that stuff than anything else. They spend billions of dollars on that stuff, man.
Information that's fed to us, right?
So you thought they was on what is it? A damn joint out in California, man, where they staged the whole thing, man.
A sound stage.
A sound
stage, Hubble and all. You think that's all staged, man? You think they want to I'm just saying, here's my thing. I'm not arguing with you, man, because you can believe what you want to believe.
See, that's my whole point. That's my whole point. I never told you what I believe, only that my belief in God. I asked you, where do we get it from? That's all I said.
And yeah, right. And I said there's scientific data and all that stuff.
And I said, where did we get it from? Who is the scientific data? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so when you were talking to Jacory earlier, and we came up with the point of it, when you questioning stuff, you categorically denied it, that you questioning stuff, and that's exactly what you're doing.
What I did was ask the question because I had my information was different from Jacory. Now,
okay, I don't want to put words in your mouth or misinterpret you.
Okay, so listen to what I'm saying to you because you know me for a long time.
I'm trying to, bro.
Okay, I'm about to tell you. If I don't agree with you, won't I tell you?
Yeah, and you don't agree with a question. You don't agree with a question. If I say, well, wait, if you ask me the question, where is the proof at? I said there's scientific data that prove it. Hold on, let me finish, man. I said there's scientific proof and data that proves it, and then your follow-up statement is, well, who is the people that saying this data?
And I'm not supposed to ask that. I'm not supposed to ask that.
You are well in your rights to ask that question, okay, bro. So but you can't deny the data.
With me asking that, is it that I not want to be convinced? See, I
So
said
that okay. All right, no, I can respect that.
So what
I can respect that.
Hold on. What I said to you was, I understand that you don't have all the information. I said that. And all I did was say, where are we getting the information from? When you say it's scientific data, I said to you, well, we don't have the information on that. We don't have the real answer where it come from.
You know,
I said scientific data.
As I said,
go ahead, Jacory.
I said, where did it come from?
Yeah, as I said earlier, man, it just speaks to our confusion and our contradiction, man. It does. You know, nothing is solid, but we're expected to live in both worlds.
Of course. So if I'm asking questions, because see, if nobody knows me, I am matter of fact. If I don't agree with you, I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna try to trick you into a response or nothing like that. Because I want people to understand where I'm coming from. And that's what I did with you guys. I asked you because you guys said the scientific data, this is what I believe, and this and that. And what did I do? I didn't say, oh man, you're wrong. No, I said, well, where did that come from? Right? Yeah. I didn't have the expectation that you knew, because if you'd known, you would have said something.
Yeah, but you did kind of argue, bro.
Yeah, I'm not following you, bro. I mean, you kind of
Okay, tell me how. No, fuck that. You just
oh man, it's time to move. It's time.
Yeah, we need to.
No.
It's time to move on.
This is what I'm talking about.
It's time to move on, Keith.
No. You telling me that I was arguing with you, and I wasn't.
I made a joke. I made a joke, bro. That's all I did.
Well, that shit wasn't funny.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
It kind of was funny, bro. Come on now.
Not to me. Not to me.
Because you hate to lose, motherfucker. You got to win. God damn it. Hey. We delve deep. We delve deep off into this conversation, man, and hopefully that would spark conversations with other people, man, who wouldn't engage with us.
First of all,
absolutely.
And that's what that was my whole objective to it in the first place. Because
I believe
I made sure you understood where my belief came from. And it came from my heart and it came from my head. I'm with that. You know what I'm saying?
Your belief came from niggerism and monkeydom.
Damn.
First of all, just because you bathing in monkeyism, because you sopping wet in that shit.
Hey, listen. I think at this point we need to do a disclaimer, man.
As far as what?
Go ahead.
As far as we joking, man, and we just trying to, spark people. We don't believe in the word niggerism. You don't even usually use that word. And so on and so forth, there and thereof, and let's move forward from that.
I don't use it. Paid up.
Hey man, we was talking about the first time that you guys were talking about the first time you actually called that word, but something struck me, man. I stopped using that word because when I was a kid, I used to use it all the time. I used to use it as much as I used, swear words, other swear words, I'll say. But I stopped using that word, man, when I got out of the gangster rap genre.
Yeah.
And I started going more conscious or whatever. And I noticed, around that time, man, that it just left a bad taste in my mouth, man, to use it towards other black men and to, be in, situations where I would even tolerate it.
Yeah. I think I can say that I stopped using it before gangster rap. And I'm one of the main reasons because it was used as a weapon against us, man. When I talked about that sleepaway camp situation, this is what I'm talking about. That's a weapon against black men and women. Yes, it's verbal. Yes, it's me personally. Oh yes, you could be like, man, that's a word that don't hurt nobody. No, but what it does is it stokes anger, so that affects you. And when it's said to you, they want you to become angry.
Man,
Well,
can I ask y'all a question? Can I ask y'all a question, man? I'm going to cut you out, but I just need to ask this damn question, man. When I hear that word being used, man, coming from somebody that look different than me, you want to know the first thing that come through my mind, man? Because I feel like, based on how I was raised, my ancestors, where we come, who we are in life, and all that stuff, if a white person call me that, the first thing that pops in my head is that the best you can do? Are you serious?
It's a last resort word. It's a last resort word, man. It's a word that people use when they're losing. It's just like
exactly.
It's like calling a fat person fat. Hell, they fucking know it.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing: was do it out of malice or what? However the word is presented to you, and you hear it, are you that person who is so angry by that word that you beat the shit out this person, and the first thing they're gonna do is press charges on you to take you away from your damn family? Or because somebody said some old clown ass bullshit because they didn't know how to say anything else. What are you gonna say? I'm unintelligent? You're gonna say I'm not taking care of my family? Do y'all know, man, they did a recent study, man, that showed that black men take care of their kids more than anybody on this fucking planet.
But that's the kind of thing that don't need to be said because we already know that.
But let me ask you. My point is, let me ask you this. I'm just saying. Let me ask you. Well, shit. How many other words can you think of that encompasses everything that you just mentioned? Fucked up fatherhood, fucked up economics, fucked up relationships, and everything like that. Tell me another word in our language system that encompasses all of those things outside of the word nigger.
You could call me a nigga all motherfucking day, but you can look at my goddamn family and you don't see no nigga in none of that. We all educated, we all, put on our shit, and we overcame your perception of us, right? I'm more offended by another black man calling me a bitch than a white motherfucker calling me a nigga.
Well, you're not a bitch though. Let me play.
I know I'm not a bitch.
All right,
but that's more offensive because that goes more to. Mama, I don't care what you accomplish in life. I think I'm more of a man than you, so I'm gonna call you an iteration of a female dog, because this is what you are this and you are that, as opposed to somebody calling me a nigga and I'm looking at them and like, look at what you driving. Look at how you live. You live in a trailer park. I own my own home. What the fuck are you talking about?
But see, that's my point. Look,
and it's all subjective thought. My point is, I'm more offended by somebody calling me the B word than the N word, because the N word, I can look at your whole skilo and be like, man, you a joke.
But see, here's the thing though, man. I see what you're saying. I'm not there because first and foremost, the word nigga and bitch is in the same category in my language.
I get that.
So understand the way I see that word, because you understand I was going through anxiety in the late 90s when they said, oh, we're going to take that word back. We're going to bury the word nigga. We're gonna do it. That was fucking infuriating. You want to know why? Because I do understand the word don't define who I am. I understand it. It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is the simple fact that you think less of me because of my skin and my ancestors who was brutalized when that word was every day. You understand that the three of us was in programming on television when that word was being used by black and white folks like it was nothing, like it was served. It is a word that was weaponized. First, it was a word that identified us, right? Then it graduated into weaponization. That's where my immaturity comes from. You think I'm justifying to you like, yo, this is why I don't like this word? No, I don't give a shit.
I didn't even take that. I didn't even take it that way, bro.
Listen, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. There's no way, and this is how I feel in my life. There's no way, and I am a good person, and I let shit slide on purpose. But there's no way that you think in my heart and you think you can call me anything and minimize who I am. That's just me. I'm not advocating for other people because that's not what this conversation is about. This was everybody else's opinion. You know what I'm saying? Y'all notice I ain't trying to change your mind. I ain't tell you it was wrong. I'm telling you how I feel about the word. That's all.
And I get that, man. I get that, man. But what I'm saying, I'm looking at it as a whole big picture, man. How the N word was made to be a word of endearment towards a cat. We're old enough to know that can never be the case. We are old enough to know that. But when you compare the two words, man, it's easier to use the N word as a term of endearment, as they did. I don't feel that way, but as they did, as it pertains to the B word, you cannot justify the B word to a black man or any man for that fact, bro. You cannot. There's nothing in society that's going to convince no real man that being called the B word is a term of endearment, bro. They did it with the N word, but the B word. Do you really think that anybody's going to say, "Hey, man, hey, my bitch"? Really?
I mean, look, that's why I say
you're not going. You ain't nowhere in the world you gonna be able to justify that. Them fighting words.
That's why I put them both in the same category. I just, you know what I mean? Honestly. Man,
but that's just my opinion. I'm not speaking for anybody else. That's just my opinion. I don't see. I think both of them are deplorable. I do. I think they both are deplorable. But the B word, you cannot do the B word the same way you did the N word in society on what any color.
I get it. And just like
because what was the original question that we asked? You know what I'm saying? Which is more offensive? And I said the B word is more offensive to a man, no matter what color you are.
Like I said, I put them in both the same category. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you, maybe once out of my 59 years, I can't say like word nigga has always been a constant effort not to call you that. I'll call you a hoe, I'll call you asshole because they are more to the point. You feel what I'm saying? But when it comes to the B word, no matter how much I cannot stand a woman, I cannot call her out of her name. It's just me. And
Man, I've been with my wife 39 years, and I swear on my life, I have never called my wife a bitch. Ever.
what reason do you have to do that, though?
I'm just saying, I've never done it.
That's my point. That's my point. Just like
Now, me and her been in heated arguments, and the N word might have slipped out, and she looking at me like, "What did you just say?" And I say, "I didn't. No. I was just, I was just in the moment, but I don't see you that way." You know what I'm saying? But in that heated argument, it never even dawned on me to call her that, because if I call her that and get comfortable with it, then why am I with her?
good point.
You know what I'm saying? So I would never allow myself to even speak that word towards that woman. Ever. I've never called her that.
All right, all right. Let me ask you a question. Side. At paternity,
Go ahead, because I got to use the bathroom real quick.
you have to do what?
I got to use the bathroom.
All right, twinkle balls. You know I was on that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we used to when we was in our 20s, when we was all hanging out, wilding out. That's what we used to call each other.
And every time I walk away, I'd be like, "Fuck you, brother."
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask Damon when he gets back.
Mm-hmm.
Pertaining to your upbringing, the way that you feel about women, does it have to do with our mom, our grandmothers, our aunts, our cousins, the interaction with them, and how you treat women over the years and how you do now?
It's got a lot to do with it, yeah. Outside of my, just my personal experience with them, but yeah, I found myself a lot of times, during interactions with women, thinking about the words I use, the steps that I take. Yeah.
So if it had anything to do with the relationships you had with those women in your family?
No, I mean, you got to give me, you got to go a little deeper, man.
I'm saying to you, what mothers and I, because there's a lack of a better word, mother's responsibility. Because really and truly, it's just mother's love. It's not responsibility, but just for this question.
What we talking about?
The teacher. Hold on, I'm gonna ask you a question. Jaquari's in the middle of his answer. A father's role is to show his son how to act around a woman, right? I believe a mother's role, and aunts and grandmothers and cousins sometimes, is to show a man how to treat a woman, right? So throughout the many conversations, throughout the interactions with your female cousins, your aunts, your grandma, your mom, did it affect the way that you treated the women throughout your life?
Absolutely.
In what way? Can you just elaborate just one little thing, elaborate on it?
Well, for the most part, man, in my relationships or whatever, man, I've been notorious, man, of treating my girlfriend, at least at the time, like she was my wife.
Good point.
You know, I never said, you know, well, I never thought that, you know, whoever I was with at any point in time, that they wouldn't eventually, you know, be meeting my family. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. Just a little quick question. What made you want to put them in that category when you have longevity with them? As far as I'm gonna treat you like you're going to be my wife eventually.
In the beginning, man, you know, quite honestly, you know, when I was young, it was possession. It was, you know, this mine, and that's just what it is. But you know, as I matured, yeah, cuffing up, you know, and you know, shit, whether that works or not, you know, who's to say? But like I said, in the beginning, man, it was purely possession. It came from an absolutely selfish point of view.
Okay.
But over the years, you know, with more and more experience, more positive experience, you know, I learned that, you know, you treat a person well, you know, not only because being treated well is reciprocal, but you want your mate to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. Okay. The question is, throughout as you was growing up and becoming a man, Damon, how much did your female cousins, your aunts, your grandma, and your mother affect how you treated women in your life?
How did it affect for me? What it was how the station that they held in the family, man. You know, here I can't speak for nobody but myself. But growing up, what I saw is the men in our family revere the women that they make commitments to. That doesn't mean that they didn't have their slip ups and the missteps and all that stuff. That stuff happens. That's just basic human nature. But when you think about it in a commitment type of level, you know what I'm saying? What you see, my mother always told me that I was okay with who I was, and whatever choice that I made was okay. And I can work from that dynamic, man. You know what I'm saying? I can build something and I can work from that dynamic. So I was comfortable with the choices that I made with my spouse. You know what I'm saying? So what did that do? I didn't come with this expectation that, well, they got to do this for me to be able to do that. I went from that perspective where this is what I need and this is what I deserve. And I see this in this person. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not they fell totally in that in that perspective, no. But I was mature enough to understand that everybody ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? And the only way you know that you're going to survive a situation, because especially as Black people, the only way you're going to survive a situation is what you do together to overcome adversity. You know what I'm saying? And when you come to a conclusion that you are willing to come together and fight and overcome adversity, that's a person that you should invest in terms of not what you can achieve monetarily or what you collect in your life, you know what I'm saying? But the fight, man, and come together and say, if you're in a situation, man, that you're struggling with something and your woman say, well, have you thought about this? And it works. That's a win. You understand what I'm saying? That's a win. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that you can't deny is that situation, that experience that you went through, and that person gave you knowledge, sometimes mostly about yourself. When the person, what do they say? Well, the person I know wouldn't lay down and take that shit. The person I know is smarter than this situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, man. And in that process of going through that whole stuff and those things happening, those positive things happening, we still have this propensity to be selfish because we are insecure about things. But goddamn, you got somebody in your life, man, that tell you that do you strong in this aspect and you win when she tell you? You know what I'm saying? You win when she tell you. Then you have to say, okay, I have to start paying attention to this person because this person told me something about myself I didn't fucking know.
But doesn't that kind of create a box for you though, man? Because
what's the box?
Are you the man within your marriage that you are outside of your marriage as far as your morals and your standards go?
What is it that you what is it, man, that you what situation are you willing to give your life for, man? You have to ask yourself that real question.
It varies, man. You know, but just because the risks that I'm willing to take are different within the confines of my marriage than they would be if I was single. So my question to you is, where does that motivation come from? Does she encourage you for the sake of your growth or to cement a positive relationship?
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say because the two don't always align, man. I mean, that's just me, speaking my truth.
That's with most people. But here is the question, man, that you have to ask yourself. If the question is posed to you where you have to think about it and have to make a decision as a man, you know what I'm saying? No matter how it turns out, you are put in a position where you have to make a decision. You have to make a choice. Nobody's manipulating you in that. Nobody's trying to coerce you into anything. If it's a question where it benefits the whole, and you have to face that question, then you have to ask yourself, where did that question come from, as it pertains to benefiting the whole? From that point, it's easy.
I think it's a very rational question, man, because as I said before, just because it benefits the whole doesn't necessarily mean it benefits me.
I mean, first of all,
well, that all requires that all depends on your commitment and what you're trying to do.
It has a lot to do with the kind of relationship you have with your mate. Because if your mate is a giver and you are selfish in some ways, you'll take everything that she gives. No matter how much you love her, as long as she's giving, you're going to take it. This is my opinion now. This is not fact, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this and you have a comment on it, please comment, because I would love to know what folks are thinking. But it has to do with, in my opinion, it has to do with your maturity. What you're willing to give up when it comes.
But at the end of the day, bro. At the end of the day, man, don't always, when you speak in terms of relationships, at the end of the day, isn't it about companionship, survival, working together, making things happen, growth and maturity? Okay. Isn't that what it is?
I mean, yeah, you just broke it down.
Ideally.
Hold on, Jaquari. Hold on. You broke it down, but it depends on the individuals, how they are as people, whether or not those things fit into place, or there's a compromise somewhere, is what it is. Because if you have a giving personality as a man or a giving personality as a woman, you're going to give more. You're going to give more than you receive every single time, unless your mate either thinks the way that you think or is paying attention or love you enough to pay attention to what you need and what they are willing to give you. You know why? Because relationships, to me, in my opinion, has to do with the people more than the situation. And what I mean by that is, if you love somebody, you in love with somebody, but their selfishness overrides your relationship, you're going to give more than you receive. That's the best way to put it. I know I'm not perfect, and I'm selfish in some kind of ways. But the thing about it is, in my life, I made the decision that my family overrides everything personal for me. That's the decision I made. Right? That's a decision I got to live with. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now you'll hear me complaining sometimes, but I only will complain for so long when it kicks in that, yo, this is your choice. This is where you are. You came here because this what makes you feel good about this situation. Now, of course, as human beings, the last thing we'll say, of course, as human beings, we get in our moments where we say, what about me? Right? We get in those moments. Some of us will go and take those moments. Some of us will ask, yo, what about me? Right? And some of us, in which I'm guilty of, not all the time, but sometimes, some of us like, fuck it, I'll get it a little bit later. Or I'm easy. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. See, I don't go in depth on why my wife may not do certain things for me. I don't do that. You want to know why? Because if I don't want to take the shit, I won't take it. But if I'm sitting there questioning it, I'm taking it. This is my personal life, dog. This is not what I'm advocating for other people. This is me, because I have that caretaking personality. You feel me? But also, I'm selfish enough to say, oh, that's enough. Fuck that. That's enough. That's how I see it.
Go ahead, Spo. What did you finish saying?
I can't remember.
Look here, man. And this is just me being totally honest, man. And this is me learning from my own mistakes and all that shit, man. I came to the understanding, man, that, you know what, how I see myself, man, on this earth, the person I am, I'm not infallible. I make my goddamn mistakes. I do all that shit. But when I choose to love, I love, and that's my choice. I choose to give, and I give, and that's my choice. If a person don't respect that, choose to take advantage of it, and all that stuff, that's their problem. The only thing I have to deal with is the fact that I made the choice. And I'm not going to second guess myself because I choose to be human. I choose to love. I choose to be those things. You understand? I'm not going to beat myself up because a person don't respect it. That's their issue, not mine. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm in a relationship, not speaking about mine, because mine is cool. I'm just speaking in hypothetical situations. If I choose to be this person in this situation and the person don't respect it, that's their shit, not mine. So I'm gonna allow them, because they don't have the wherewithal to be respectful or respect me as a person or as a man or whatever. They choose to not do that for whatever the hell reason. That's their shit. And I'm not going to change my life because they don't know or understand a good situation when they see it or going through it. That's their shit. And I'm not even finna argue about it. I'm just gonna be like, okay, it didn't work out. I'm gonna move on.
There was a reason why, I asked a series of questions the way that I did, because I've lived through scenarios where, it might have been some time since I've seen a person. And when I do see them, I'll be like, hey, I'm catching up. We catching up and everything. And at some point in the byplay, they might say, well, yeah, man, shit, we invited you. We invited y'all here. But yeah, shit, your old lady said, you wasn't feeling it. And I had no notion that the conversation even came up. Now, the fact that just because I'm a husband, I've got to be the boogeyman, and me knowing that's not who I am as a person, I just see that as unfair, man. It really is. So there's some sacrifices that I've made for the sake of the union
Of course.
that don't necessarily align with who I am. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of me making a decision to to be in this relationship and to accept certain things, there's very little space for me to bring the product that I was before the marriage into the marriage.
Got you. I got you. See, this is the thing. These kinds of conversations, it's good to hear what other men and women think. I've always advocated for that because I went through that, telling people how I feel and how they should feel. I went through that in my 20s. But then when I started to understand that it don't matter how you feel about somebody else and what they're doing, unless they're your children. You know what I'm saying? Even with you two guys, y'all my brothers, I can tell you how I feel about it, but that's as far as it goes because you're grown men. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I'm like, yo, I'm feeling concerned about you, bro. That's enough for me. I'm feeling concerned. Now, what you do with that, I'm not gonna take it personal if you don't do shit with it. But if it sparks a discussion, I'm loving that. Because all I want to do is figure out why you feel a certain way. If I think enough to bring it up to you. And I do not believe in, this is why I try to avoid it as much as possible. I don't believe in subliminal beating around the bush shit. I never believed in that. I told you how I felt, and that was it. You mean? So I don't go out to offend you. I go out to understand you when I ask you a question. Right? So it's funny, our discussion today, the episode today, I'm asking the questions that I asked you is to hear what you have to say. Not to change your mind, not to do anything. Now I'm gonna try to change your mind if you're smoking crack. Because that's telling me that you done went fucking crazy because we got millions of people who ain't got no business smoking crack, heroin, meth, and nothing like that, right? But if you see your life going a different direction, I'm gonna ask you a question. Like, yo, why are you doing that? And I'll give you a follow-up question if I need to, but I'm asking you because it's really and truly about the exchange of conversation and communication. That's what it's about. That's how we learn. That's how we build relationships. Eric Harris, to answer your question, what we talking about? We talking about life. I had Eric up on the screen. He asked me, I just got home, and what are we talking about? That's what we are talking about.
What's going on, brother?
So, we talked about this last night, and the first hour and 35 minutes was a great conversation, but I want to throw this in there just to get both your responses. The question that I told you guys I was going to ask tonight was, if God granted you omnipotence in changing something in our community, what would be the first thing you would think of changing? Let me repeat the question to you. God gave us the omnipotence of change in our community. What would be the first thing you would think about changing? If you guys are not ready, I'll answer. So you're
I'm ready.
All right, Jaquari?
First thing I would do, man, is I would change myself to being unselfish. Because with that kind of power, I mean, I'm gonna be out for me. Second thing I do, man, is I would try to, at some point in time, gather our collective conscious, together, to see if there really are answers to the problems that we suffer. If there's not answers to those problems, then, whatever next step I needed to take from there, then, I'd have to take it. But that responsibility, man, I mean, I could tell you what I would do with $1 billion before I could tell you what I would do with that power.
I got you. That's why I asked what would be the first thing that you thought of.
Yeah, I would have to take myself out of the equation and try to be in a position, whether it be on high or not, where I could just look at things and monitor things and try to figure things out.
No doubt. Are you ready to answer, Damon, or should I go?
Well, for me, it's simple as this, man. I mean, if you omnipotent and you in God's position, man, then you have to decide to render judgment on people, man.
To do what?
You know what I'm saying? You have to decide to render. You talking about if you had the power God has, omnipotent power,
to change our community.
Then you have to render judgment, man. And in rendering judgment, there has to be examples, man. So do you have the wherewithal and the fortitude to render judgment, be it bad or good? Is that in your heart? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Can you make those decisions? Can you make the decisions whether or not who's being punished or who's not?
Now, you understand I'm not talking about Judgment Day, right? I'm talking about changing something in our community. What would be the first thing that you would think of?
Okay. First thing I would think of is understanding that we all has God's light in us. We are all part of God. Okay. We are all Him. Gotcha. So we need to respect each other in that manner.
Okay. Well,
what harm would you bring to another person if you know God renders in that person? What harm would you bring to him? I'm saying, would you take advantage of them?
Gotcha. I got you. My answer to it, like I said, we talked about it yesterday, and I kind of sprung this on my brothers, but I've been thinking about it for a minute, and I made the choice because being human, you want to be clever. You're trying to look for loopholes, or you trying to be the one to be the judgment of everything. So I formed the question in a way: what would be the first thing to change in our community? So my answer is this. And it's really splicing things together. The first thing is awareness of who we are, not the things that was been fed to us, not the things that was fed to us through captivity, but just as a community of people. Wherever it was in the beginning, who we were in the beginning, the good and bad, being brought aware of who they are, who we are, right? And what I would splice that into is the energy of cooperation. Because in my humble opinion, why our community is not in the forefront of things, because there's not an air or energy of cooperation with one another. Now we will team up with something, and this is just my opinion and just my picture window, what I see. We would team up with someone who's outside our community. We'll team up with that person, right? Because maybe they know better than somebody within. Because to me, in my opinion, we've been conditioned not to trust each other. Just like other communities are conditioned not to trust us. So those are the two things I would splice. Knowledge of self and community cooperation to basically give the foundation of change. You guys understand where I'm coming from with that?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no right answer. I can't give you a right answer to that because there's other things that I would change. But the first thing I would think of is to that cooperation, to have a bond, to have us to stand on. Standing on business. You know what I'm saying?
So let me make sure I'm understanding the point you're making. If you got that type of power, man, if you got that type of power, right? Wouldn't you just implement it, man, and make changes because you had a power? Because what you just described, man, is what we're going through in essence, in real time, anyway.
No, we're not going through that. Where do you see that at?
What I said, you said
your world. Now I just said to you, no,
you said
right?
Knowledge yourself.
Okay.
Change. You talk about knowledge yourself, change, and all that stuff. Does it not require a person to go through their own maturation processes, man, to become better things?
No. Because we are individual. My opinion now, this is not disagreeing with you, but I'm answering your question. No, because we are selfish in nature. So what we're going to do is we're going to point ourselves toward what is best for us, not best for the community. This is why I answered it for have knowledge of self. When you have knowledge of self, that's knowledge of your community, where you come from, who you are.
Then why then why present yourself with that power if you're not going to implement it and create Shangri-La?
I just said to you, what would be the first, that the question was, what would be the first thing you would change? I just told you the first thing that I would change.
Right. That requires making a decision. Not
now, hold on. Now, let's get. We're gonna get into the religious point of it. We all have our own decisions to make, whether to follow a belief or not, right? And the best way I can do it was not make somebody do it. Of course, that's the easy way to doing it. I'm not. Yes, of course, that's the easy way to do it. This is the sparking discussion. This is why I formed the question the way I formed it. You feel what I'm saying? What would be the first thing? Because that's the first thing that pops in your mind, right? But really and truly, if you sit there, you are not going to pull the trigger on the first thing, are you? You know what I'm saying? No. What you're going to do is sit there and think, how would I do this? Now and it makes sense. You say, yo, I'm going to enlighten everybody and I'm going to make it that everybody pulls this way. You see what I'm saying?
Based on the question that you asked.
Yes. But that's my point. That's why I asked the three of us that, because it has more to do with, we do understand there ain't no right or wrong answer to this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you ask a human being that question, man, you got to understand that we are infallible, man. So if we got that power and we want to make change, we're going to make change. Right?
Okay. No.
That's the main reason why I X myself out of the equation in the beginning. That's the first thing that I would do is I would take away my selfishness.
But are you Xing yourself out the situation?
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, bro.
Absolutely. Because
let me finish the question. Do you think you're Xing yourself out the situation when you say, I'm going to make sure that my selfishness is not pertaining to what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what if your selfishness is mixed in with the right thing to do?
I mean, there's always positives and negatives, man. But see, my point is the reason why I would take myself out of the equation is, hell, eventually I know I'm gonna lose that power, and I'm gonna have to go and live with my people again. Now, if I spirit all of our issues away, we're a community. We are a community who just aren't prepared, because we are a community who aren't prepared to address the world without peril. We are.
Hold on, bro. So you really think right now, with no changes,
mm-hmm.
we are not prepared to address the world when we're surviving in this world? I'm playing the advocate right now. We're mm-hmm. surviving in this world right now
mm-hmm.
with the little scraps that we have, and we got very little scraps as a community.
Yeah.
So to empower it more, where you had the choice, let's just throw it out here. You have the choice to where, yo, I'm enlightening you to this community, to this, and this is what I'm gonna change, and I'm going to give you just as much power as everyone else, and we're not ready for it.
No, we're not ready for it, because absolute power corrupts absolutely, man. I mean,
am I asking absolute power? Or
you say omnipotence and all that? That's exactly what you said, man. You put yourself. No, I'm not. You ask the question in the position of God, man.
Hold on, man. You keep saying that. All I'm saying to you is this: what would you change? Is what I'm saying to you. Now, Jaquari, I said even the playing field, as far as here and community here, we're not ready for that. Like I said, I'm being the advocate on it, and I'm just talking about it. Damon,
I can't say that we are.
I'm not telling you. Oh, if I wanted us to be in this scenario to be God, I would say it. But what did I say to you? And we talked.
Okay, what was your?
I said to you, if God granted you omnipotence to change in our community, what would be the first thing you would change? That's all I said. That was it.
And I say, man, and to answer your question, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we are prepared for it, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with my lack of confidence in our community. Nothing. I mean, we are expert at living through hardship. So resiliency, man, resiliency is something that we are good at. Prosperity, not so much.
Oh, bro. All right, let me put it like this. Do you guys think that we are mixed in with prosperity too? I think we are.
Yeah.
So what you said was we weren't prepared for prosperity. Yes, we were. Now, 100% prepared, I agree with you, Jaquar. We're not. Right?
Well, here's my response, bro. Here's my response. I think that we've already done that. I think that we, as African Americans, are a beacon to the world and examples to follow. We just not benefiting from this shit.
That's my whole point, though, dog. How do we?
Oh, okay.
What do we change so we can benefit?
We don't have to change. We don't have to change anything because people are going to follow our example, not give us credit for it, but they're going to follow the example, man.
And how do we benefit from that, though? I'm talking about
how we benefit from it. Okay, then we have to deal with our own community. We have to exclude the world because we already leading in the world now, following our example.
Okay.
There are some aspects of the other community, man, that I just don't want.
Exactly.
I don't want us to have to deal with those traits or whatever. And my point is, if we were to have knowledge of self and the clarity that you guys would grant with that omnipresence or whatever, I think that would put us, neck and neck with the other.
Okay.
Now, why would we aspire to be oppressors?
But that's my point, though.
That's a great question.
No, how is that even a question? Because if you're even in the paying for, I did not say that I would put our community above anyone. What I would do was educate them as a whole and even the playing field.
Yeah, I'm not questioning what you said. I just made a statement.
And I just wanted to clarify that because I didn't want you to misunderstand.
Mm. And I've always said, man, our community, man, we are at the gate, man, when it comes to being in line with certain traits, certain traits that have kept us in subjugation, certain traits that have kept the world's foot on our necks.
Because we're human, right? But our energy comes from humanity and love, though.
It does, but
that's not engaged in propaganda, though. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is that the question that you asked, the statement that you made, we are already doing that. It's already happening. The world engaged in our humanity, and they try to make us think that we are not who they're following and paying attention to.
I got you.
That's just factual. Now, coming from that standpoint, as a black man at 58 years old, as a black man, I understand that the world follow our lead as African Americans. That's just flat out what it is. Now, if you pose the question as it pertains to, okay, from that standpoint, what do we do? What we do from that standpoint, then I say, okay, we're already doing it, but if I think further from that point, then Heavy as the head that wears the crown. Is it about subjugation then? Do I make somebody do it? I live the example. I live the example. They either going to accept it or they're not.
Yeah, hold on, man. Hold on. So you guys are telling me, and I don't want to put words.
I know. Don't put words Corey. I said it.
No. Okay, you're telling me that because you have the knowledge of who you are and where you want to be, there's some subjugation in there, and you have to make people believe that. Other than
no. I said they already believe it. I'm not trying to make them believe anything. They already do.
So who are you addressing? Because I'm addressing the community when I answered my question.
That's why I brought in propaganda. Do you believe what the world say about us as they live our example?
But it has nothing to do with what the world says about us. I said my answer was is bringing knowledge of self and cooperation and doing the things that we need to do to work with one another, in which we see other communities do, even if they don't like each other.
Do they? Really? Or is that what they're trying to do? Do these other communities do that shit, man? Or are they just as cool as everybody else?
Listen, in degrees, it's more with us. You want to know why? Not because we don't trust each other or anything like that. We do not. Well, it has something to do with trust. We don't work together. Because other communities, when I mention other communities, I'm not talking about the land of milk and honey and it's gold on the streets. It has nothing to do with that. I'm saying to you it's the survival of their community. Are we invested in our own survival?
Is there a community? Is there a community throughout the world, man, that don't mimic us, man?
Bro,
do you guys know anything about Star Wars folklore? The very first movie, what was it? The Phantom Menace. Okay. You know, Luke Skywalker represented the bad guys, right? Darth Vader and the Empire are the good guys in this story. The Jedis, you know, they started out as basically monks.
Okay,
but let me finish. But as they acquired power, they started to do evil things. Yoda is a mass murderer. Yoda is a mass murderer, and I use that as an example, just to reinforce my earlier point, man. As a component in this society, okay, yeah, things are bad for us, but considering where we came from, you know, basically creation, you know, we have to be very careful about how we translate that narrative, man. We have to be.
But who's actually in this scenario? Who's actually questioning the power structure? Nobody's questioning.
I'm questioning the power structure.
No, but the whole point is we're talking about what would you do. And the thing that I went to is to educate.
Do you see my response to your question, man? Do you see the benefits of my point of view? Because if I take myself out of the equation and I'm not actively looking to gain from that situation, how much more does that free me up to do the right thing?
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. And it's a good point, Jaquari, but let me ask you a question, sir. And I really and truly mean this. You have already been taken out the equation because whatever history comes from your ancestors, period. So you are already out of the equation. So I want you to think along the lines where because answering Damon's statement earlier, yes, we can snap the finger. We can be Thanos and snap the finger and everything can be straight. Right? If we was playing God. But we're not playing God. I'm saying to you, if you can change, what would be the first thing that you change? Now, I respect your answers, right? But I want you to understand how I see it also.
I do.
That's all I'm saying to you.
I do.
That's all. It has nothing to do with, oh, you wrong, Damon, because you feel, no, it has nothing to do with that. This is conversation and what you see in your lenses. What
I didn't take it. I didn't take it that you was wrong, man. In the answer to your question, I say we, because I'm not. You asked me as a personal, individual.
Yeah.
Then I am Thanos. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask me as a community, we already doing that shit, man.
No,
but propaganda is contingent on making us feel or think that we are not that beacon, man. And we are.
Exactly what I was saying, but I took it a step further and saying the education as a community, not individuals as a community. That's all I'm saying. Now let me just read this.
I can respect that.
Something what you said earlier, Jaquari, and it hammers home your point, right? It says ignorance is bliss, intelligence is suffering. Intelligence makes you aware of everything, not just the things that you're ignorant to.
Okay.
And you said something along the lines where when you took yourself out of the equation, you see what I'm saying? Because if you do everything, you would feel that you would do what? Corrupt. Am I?
Yeah, because as I said before, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and I would do selfish shit.
Gotcha. I got you.
Even though I might have a good answer or two, I'm pretty confident that overall, I'm gonna make sure that I've secured my throne of gold.
Yeah, but that's why I said. That's why I formed the question is what would be the first thing you would think about changing? Because first and foremost, the first thing you think about changing, unless you're matter of fact, like putting your thumb in the dike to stop the dam from exploding, you know what I mean? Some immediate shit, you are not going to act on the first thing that you can think of. But I was curious of what you guys thought your first thing would be. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because there's no right or wrong.
Fluke, what you doing, bro? What you doing?
Listening to y'all, man.
No, you making some SMR. Is that what you say? What is it, Jaquari? SMMR? That noise shit?
Yeah.
Making noise, man. No.
Emma?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm telling you, moving tables and shuffling papers and shit. Yeah.
All right, look.
My brothers, boy. You're like, all right, now, to sit your ass still now.
Look. Hey, man. Hey, what's going on over here?
Like in life, my man sitting there scraping his toes. You disturbing everybody, man. Whoever can't even scrape his, he can't even scrape the black off his toes.
Look, I got to figure out this Instagram live thing. I don't know.
We got into it heavy tonight, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
I dropped the ball earlier. We came to Instagram live. Instagram, we on our way, baby. I just got to do a little bit more book study. But we're gonna start with you, Fluke. We're gonna start with you. Last thoughts of the night. Then you, Jaquari, and then we're gonna bring it on home.
I think, man, in my personal life, man, I look at all the things that I need to take care of. I'm speaking as a black man. You know what I'm saying? I think about all the things that I need to take care of to maintain. As my brother asked me a question in terms of what it is that I wish or futuring or if I had the power to do so. You know what I'm saying? And it harkened me back to the mindset that, hell, we as African Americans, we influence the whole world, man. We just don't get credit for it. Or the world try to convince us that we are not that. So from that standpoint, man, what else can we do? You see what I'm saying? There are, people who are trying to do what's right because we have loved ones that's going to be our future and that we're taking care of. What more can we do but be examples? And that leads me to this one question. Who's wrong? Who's messed up? Who's confused, man? Is it us? You know what I'm saying? So at that standpoint, bro, with that understanding, where do we fight the real fight? Is the real fight, man, being more boisterous and doing dumb shit to get attention or whatever? Or is the real fight being that example, man? Say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make sure my end of it is taken care of in the right way, and I'm not disrespecting those that came before me. You know what I'm saying? And in that process of us raising those kids, somebody's going to be the next Malcolm X. Somebody's going to be the next Martin Luther King, so on and so forth. It ain't about the bag. It's about the people. It's about love, because at some point in time, it's going to be somebody who's going to stand up for the people who's just having an ordinary life. Isn't that what Jesus did as it pertained to how he was living back then? Couldn't read, oppressed, living with conquerors and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? At some point, we have to look at ourselves and say, you know what, we is not as bad as the world making us to be. We're not. You know what I'm saying? And it's a confusing thing to try to be something outside of what it is that you already accomplished. What more can I do? Damn, you did it. You did it. As we sit back, last point, man. When Detroit lost to San Francisco, I got all off into whether Purdy was this and this person was that and all that stuff. And none of that shit has nothing to do with my life, man. You see what I'm saying? What I saw and what related to me is I saw a team that never won shit in terms of Super Bowl, made an effort to do it. They fell short, but they made an effort. And that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we're going to win, and that's who we are. And sometimes we're going to lose. But if we can point to a situation where we made progress, guess what? That little small step of progress, we as African American people in this country, that little small step of progress that we made is going to think about how that spreads around the world. You know what I'm saying? We got people following us and we oppress. We got people coming over here to this country talking about, how come y'all ain't taking advantage of this country? Motherfucker, you only here because of us. You feel what I'm saying? So we have to start thinking differently, man. And I'm glad you brought that question, bro. Because that required me to think, and it brought some things, it brought truth to bear in my life, man. I'm sitting around depressed, man. You know what I'm saying? Not want to do shit because my favorite team lost. And I didn't even look at the success they made. We got to start thinking different, man.
Yeah.
We got to start seeing what we accomplished. Because guess what? The world see it. When they putting up videos and stuff like that, dancing with like us, listening to James Brown, doing our moves and all that shit, and the stars of the world and all that stuff, and they mimicking us
and carrying on and shit.
Carrying on. The want to sing like Luther Vandross, mother.
Right. But the first thing they say is my man from Baltimore, quarterback. This motherfucker is an MVP, but they say he's still not a quarterback. Really?
I hate that shit so much, man.
It is,
man. That's what I'm saying. It's so overt, man. You gotta start calling people out on that. Dude, how you gonna tell this man who beats y'all that he ain't better than y'all? Yeah, but he run too much.
What they eat don't make you.
You want to weaponize what we do great against us? Fuck out of here, man. So, hey, Keith, I appreciate the question you asked, man, because it provoked thought.
Absolutely.
Take responsibility, man, and hold everybody around the world. They sit up in Congress talking about they're gonna shut down the government because they want to send Israel and Ukraine billions of dollars, but they got people coming over across the border taking money from people who need it in the black community.
No. First of all, they ain't taking the black people's money. The government ain't giving the black people their fucking money.
Keith, listen, man. How the hell, man, you got immigrants coming up to Chicago, they get $300 million from the city.
Bro.
From the city.
Hey, look.
We're not even talking about federal shit. We're talking about from the city. $300 million. And there's black people living on the streets.
You may be right, but that's some bullshit in my eyes. You might be right. But I'm not gonna drink the Kool-Aid, the federal Kool-Aid. Fuck that. So you're gonna blame another minority for the other minority who've been here for not getting there.
When it's happening in real time, you goddamn right.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, look, like I said, I told you, you might.
And then you got one of the men from Venezuela talking about you telling the sister, you get no more money.
All right, man. All right. Hey, Jaquari, see,
no more.
Now, Fluke on here clowning now. Go ahead, Jaquari. Last thoughts, baby.
That's what I'm doing.
Niggerism and monkeydom. Nah, fellas, once again, man, I've enjoyed the conversation. And
monkeydom.
I think a lot of
that shit's funny as hell, monkeydom. You ought to coin that phrase, bro. Anytime monkeydom, you need to get money in your pocket.
I think we've if we haven't changed any minds, man, which wasn't our ultimate pursuit, I think we've expanded some thoughts. Yeah. And why else are we here?
Yeah, that's real. That's real. My last thought is Babalushi Mangani. John Armstrong. I forgot what it meant, but yo, he used to hit syllable for syllable in that joint.
Babalushi Mangani.
Yes, sir. It's all love. The purpose of Strong Perspective Podcast, I need you guys to go in, tell your people, go to our YouTube channels, like, share, and subscribe. We trying to hit 1,000. I've been trying to hold back. But yo, we ain't even close to 1,000. Get us where we need to be so we can touch you and the people that need to be touched also. But go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. We're live on YouTube, about to be on Instagram and our YouTube channel and Facebook every Friday at 7:30. promoting conversation, promoting togetherness, promoting the kind of situation where you're trying to be the best you can possibly be as human beings. So what do? You stimulate conversation.
They need to stop bullshitting, man. Show some love.
Eric, before we go, Eric said that's not true, but they showed that they jumped the police and got it. Hell, Eric, you saying the same thing the Fluke said, but it is what it is. It's the news that they show us, baby. But yo,
you know damn well there was some black people did it. They'd have shot them. They had 100 damn bullets in them.
Look, and I'm asking law enforcement, so I know it would have been a homicide. So it is.
Oh God, they'd have killed up a whole bunch of people.
I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
Especially when the man kicked me in the face, he was like, "Oh shit, I got to." Like my man on that one show with Donnie Jupp, man shot himself in the foot.
Oh, dead man.
Foot. Somebody got to die.
Yeah. Hey, when he shot himself, he said, "Oh shit."
Billy Bob.
Oh shit, Billy Bob thought. Oh shit.
Billy Bob. Look, let me tell you something.
Oh my goodness.
Cowboy.
Somebody got to die.
Somebody got to pay. God damn it.
Cowboy Logic is probably the most funny, direct shit that you ever. I'm gonna tell you the funniest shit. I watched the late 60s, 70s shows. I watch them shits all the time. Cause they be hitting you in the head with some zingers. You know what I'm saying?
Hey Keith, Smoke.
Yeah.
Hey
Yeah.
Keith,
Man,
Smoke.
what's going on, man? You
Man, go back and watch Lonesome Dove, man.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Look. Hey, the funny thing is, Unforgiven. Unforgiven.
Oh,
What did Clint Eastwood say? I'm coming to kill you, Lil Bill, because what you did to my man, to my friend Ned. You just shot an unarmed man. He should have armed himself.
Mm-hmm. That motherfucker said, "Y'all better bury him, because if you don't,
I'll be back and I'll be killing
back.
women and children."
Hey,
right.
that movie
moving.
That movie with Louis Gossett when he was a bad guy, and my man asked me, he said, "Why you shooting him in the back?" He said, "Because his back was to me."
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
It's a gun. It's a gun. Ain't no rules in the gunfight. There absolutely no rules in the gunfight.
Especially when it's live.
Yeah, the only rule is surviving.
Look, nothing but a whole bunch of bushwhackers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Do some wild shit. Said, man, I'm glad I survived that shit.
Listen. On Paramount, got the best modern westerns. 1923 was a hell of a joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1883 was a hell of a joint.
Yeah.
But the best one, Bass Reeves.
Yeah.
I like that shit, man, for real. Yeah. Yeah.
My man was like, he was matter of fact, wasn't he? And his woman was matter of fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the daughter was matter of fact.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, look, we here every Friday at 7:30, Facebook, starting IG Live, and go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe for us, baby. Get us where we need to be. Yo, we're about to go viral. So when you see this, you be some of the first people to say, yo, I used to watch them motherfuckers when they didn't have nobody. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. But, any last words, guys?
I had fun tonight, man. To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Always have fun.
This is like we sitting in each other's houses, man. Just kicking it, man.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Jaquari?
Hey, man, y'all help us get to where we trying to get.
Yes, indeed.
Just help us out, man. Are you the man? That's Spanish for help. Ayúdame.
Oh, okay.
Because
Clever
I was going to join in with you, but I was like, what the hell you just said?
oh, clever ass buck.
That's why that's why 50 need to put me in the goddamn movie, man. I keep telling that motherfucker.
Tell him. 50, come and get him. He can be the community hero, or he can be the bad guy.
Do that brother got range or what, man?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Brother got range, boy.
All right. All love, man. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Y'all have a good weekend. Good night.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.